So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRMedia.com, brought to you today on the iPhone, Android, Palm, and BlackBerry by the Stitcher app for mobile devices. I kind of stumbled there, didn't I? Mr. Media is also sponsored by thepartyauthority.us. Planning a wedding, mitzvah, or corporate event? For any and all occasions, call the Party Authority nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs. That's 1-800-342-5357, where one call does it all. So where was I before the commercial? Oh, yeah. Mr. Media is recorded live from the new media capital of the world and hometown of Lie-to-Me star Monica Raymond, St. Petersburg, Florida. NBC's freshman comedy sensation Community is ending its first season on a high note. Entertainment Weekly made the show's season finale tonight #1 on its top 10 must list of things to do this week. And it singled out co-stars Joel McHale and Gillian Jacobs for the developments in their characters. So how lucky am I to welcome Gillian to Mr. Media today? Pretty damn lucky, I think. Gillian's character, Britta, has grown as Community itself blossomed this season. When the show debuted, she seemed destined to be a one-noter whose sole purpose seemed to be swatting down blatant advances by McHale's womanizing character, Jeff. But as the weeks went on, the writers found better, smarter ways of putting her to work, expanding Britta into as fully formed a person as everyone around her, including the strangely but positively more evolved Jeff. Now, regular listeners know I'm a fan of Community, which is why Gillian is the 5th star of the show invited to join me on Mr. Media. And Gillian, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. How are you?
Oh, great. That was a very lovely introduction that you gave me. Thank you.
Well, I should probably say goodbye then and leave, huh?
I'm okay with that because I sounded great in your intro, and we can leave it at
that. Well, so much of the attention focused on Community when it began was about whether Joel could act and carry the show.
Oh.
And where it was true, but and where once huge movie star Chevy Chase would fit into an ensemble cast. But now with the season ending, you're actually the one being singled out by Entertainment Weekly. Pretty nice.
Oh, well, that was very flattering. I mean, completely unexpected and very flattering. Yeah, I mean, Joel is a trained actor. I think he'd like me to mention this. And, obviously Chevy has become just completely endeared to America as a totally different character, and I just feel so happy to be a part of it. And if people want to single me out, I'm more than thrilled.
Well, it's been interesting. So many people and characters and things developed with the show over the course of the season. Chevy and Joel, you. I mean, and the TV public was really introduced to a lot of great character actors. Ken and Danny and Donald and Yvette and Allison. I mean, it really is the ideal kind of ensemble situation, it seems.
Yeah, and I have to add to that list Jim Rash, who plays Dean Pelton, who, I mean, I just fall in love with more and more each week. He has the most impeccable comic timing of anyone on our show. I think we would all agree. I mean, yeah, I just remember doing the pilot and sitting around, those first couple of days and just progressively getting blown away by each person on my cast. And that's, I think, when we had an inkling that we had something special. It's just, the strength of the actors on the show. And the fact that we all seem to get along and share this kind of comic sensibility together, plus we had these fabulous scripts to work with. It was kind of a no-lose situation.
Mm. Now, would you agree or disagree with what I said about your character's growth, that Britta's really changed?
Yes, I agree with you. I think that, in part what it was about also, this was Dan Harmon's master plan that I was completely unaware of, was that he sort of viewed it like peeling away the onions of the character, that you sort of start out with this notion of this perfectly reasonable, put together, kind, sensible person, which is how Britta presents herself in the pilot. And of course, we all do that. We present the best version of ourselves, when we're meeting people, especially people with whom we have romantic tension. And then as the season goes on, you find her shortcomings, her flaws, her quirks. She gets told she's humorless by the group. She has to deal with the fact that, they don't find her funny, and she's no longer sort of the moral authority on the show. I remember Donald's character Troy has this line once where he goes, "I want to believe you, Britta, but you're never quite right, are you?" And I really thought that summed up the sort of new version of Britta, where she's almost but never quite totally right about a situation. So she tries. She wants to think that she's like a humanitarian, but it doesn't really always work out so well. Although sometimes she does help people. She did get Ovid into film class, and she did help Jeff when he had lost his apartment. But nobody ever wants to talk about that, so I have to keep bringing those episodes up.
So obviously you and Joel McHale's character, you're both featured tonight. Can you give us a little tease as to what to expect?
Yeah, tonight features a good old-fashioned love triangle between Professor Slater, Jeff, and Britta, and I think you see Britta's competitive side sort of coming out, a bit of the pettiness and the jealousy and the competition, and she's also she's entered against her will into a beauty pageant at Greendale Community College. So Britta's going to be grappling with a lot of things in this episode, and you're going to see her in a dress again, which is a very rare event on Community. I think this may be the second time it's happened. So.
Well, even if the story stinks, that'll be something to look forward to.
I was excited. I'm a much earlier girl than Britta is, so I was thrilled when I actually got to wear a dress and try on a bunch of dresses.
Listen, I know from having interviewed so many of your cast members now that all of you guys are very avid Twitterers, and I wondered how tweeting, if at all, has changed the relationship dynamic among the group and also between you and fans of the show. Well,
I got into it because Donald Glover told me I was living in 1998, and he kept asking me what it was like in the past. So I figured that I was too young to go, these kids and their newfangled technology. And it's been really fun. I mean, I certainly don't have as many followers as like Joel McHale, but, I think it is really great. It's really nice when people sort of are live tweeting their responses to the show, and you get to read, really nice comments in real time, and people get to, they'll send you, they make these things called GIFs, GIS, where they take like 2 seconds of video and sort of loop it endlessly, and they'll send you one that they've made of your character from the show, and, there's all these things going on online, like fan fiction, and, they have a live journal page as fans. And so for us, it's sort of like, because I think the fun thing about our show is that we as actors are fans of the show. We run to our trailer on Thursday nights and try and watch the show, and they come and drag us out and tell us we have to keep shooting. So I feel like we're as much fans of the show as everybody else. So it's great to kind of have that sense of community online with people.
Well, folks, you can catch Gillian Jacobs every Thursday night at 8 p.m. in the hit NBC sitcom Community, and catch up with episodes you've missed at Hulu.com. And you can follow her on Twitter. Let's get her up into Joel McHale territory. It's Twitter.com/Gillian Jacobs. And Gillian, don't be shy. If you want to tell people you're on Mr. Media today on your Twitter account, we won't complain.
Okay.
Hey, thanks so much for being on the show today, and we'll see you again back here next season.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great summer.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And for more interviews with your favorite stars of NBC's Community, you can surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Danny Pudi, Donald Glover, Allison Brie, and Yvette Nicole Brown. And please take advantage of this great offer for Mr. Media Radio listeners. Go to www.audiblepodcast.com/MrMedia to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, that's audiblepodcast.com/MrMedia for your free audiobook. And subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes and subscribe for free. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many locations. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman.com. And you can follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, twitter.com/Andelman, or facebook.com and search Mr. Media Interviews. Thanks so much for joining us today. Always appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day and come spend it with us. Thanks for listening, everybody.